Welcome back to Farm and Hammer, everyone. You might be able to tell I'm absolutely filthy, covered in dust, and that's because we got a big load of feed in. I know you guys have seen this mound of grain before, but for those of you that haven't, we get feed in 18-ton loads at a time, and we can't hold 18 tons all in our bin up there, so we do have to let it run on the ground for a few minutes. And so probably, I don't know, 1/8 of all the grain we get ends up in this big pile on the floor, and then we just scoop it up with buckets. This is the first to be fed to the calves, and then the rest of the 18 tons in the upstairs there, we'll feed that as we need it. But this stuff, since this is an old dairy barn, we got broken out windows. Rain does occasionally get in here on a windy day, so we try to feed this first just so it doesn't get wet, and the calves will still eat it. But the reason we've got all this feed is because we have weaned some calves. As you guys know, we don't have a whole lot of spring-born calves, but we did wean the ones we did have. So since we are still super dry this year, we don't have a whole lot of pasture for them. So what we're mostly doing is feeding some hay right now and grain, because that's about all we can do. So here we've got our group of weaned calves, and I say weaned, but they've only been off their mothers for about 6 days now, and some of them just 5 days. But we do fence line weans, so we had the cow herd right up against this fence out in that pasture, and in about a day and a half or 2 days, they're about sick of standing there and waiting, so we move them after that, and cows are ready to move on after just a couple days. So it works out nicely. Fence line weaning. Sure, the calves are a little louder, but there is a little less stress because they can make nose-to-nose contact with their mother. So anyway, like I said, this group is getting grain, and they're also getting hay, and then we are filling up waters for them because the bulls are currently in the bullpen. We can't let them into the pond. So this entire group of calves have never had any grain whatsoever till we weaned them. There's sometimes we'll creep feed the calves, so they'll have access to grain when they're getting close to being weaned. But this year we didn't do any creep feeding. These calves had not had a bite of grain till the day they were weaned. So they have adjusted well. It took them 2 or 3 days to get used to eating feed, but now they're used to it and they seem to enjoy it. Yeah, hopefully they don't lose too much weight during this weaning process. Anyway, here in another week or two, we'll kick them out onto pasture once their mothers are far enough away. We don't have to worry about them breaking through fences. We'll probably hold on to these calves for quite a while. I think we can put quite a bit of weight on them if we can get some rain this fall and get some fall pastures growing. But on to the bottle calves. We've got our group that's outside. They are all doing super well. No sickness, no issues like that. The one that I'm not sure if it's a girl or boy, because it kind of has both, that one over there up against the yellow shed there, that one is having some sort of issue. It seems like its back legs are a little strange, so I'm not sure what I'm dealing with there, but I've been trying to watch it and make sure it's healthy, and so far so good. It does drink, it just lays around more than most, but the rest of them, including the beef calf, they're all doing well, all in the milk bar here. But no new bottle calves this week. It was a very slow week. I've got one I'm picking up tomorrow, but nothing this whole week, which is nice because like I said last video, I'm pretty much out of room. But what I have done since the last time you saw me, I did get this fence built around this old calf shed here. These pens are a little bit bigger than the pens they're in now, and so I'm gonna move all the older calves on the Heatwave outside here. I've still got some cleaning out to do. I had this barn pretty much all the way cleaned out, and then the bulls got in here and left their mark. So I'm gonna have to clean the fresh stuff out. Then I got a whole load of sawdust and wood chips to throw in here. Try to give them a foot or two of bedding before I put them in. Then they'll have access to the outside. Obviously there's no grass or anything to eat out here, but they can get some sunshine, they can get out in the fresh air and do a little more running around than they can now. That is the plan for tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna get some stuff done here and then I will check in with you guys tomorrow morning. All right, so it's the following morning and these calves are ready to go outside. And the reason they're going outside, like I've mentioned multiple times, I can't keep this front area really dry. I can keep the back area dry and they'll stay bedded down back there, but this front area just stays wet. Same with that pin over there. This whole corner stays wet, and then the back side, it stays dry, and that's where I put their bedding. But I got this temporary fence here just so I can herd them out here. And now they'll spend most of the day outside instead of in the barn. They'll have fresh air, and then will also be a little more sanitary because the sun is on the ground, so things will dry up a little quicker. They do have access to the barn, and as you can see, I've got a fresh layer of sawdust here and shavings. This is cedar and oak and a little bit of walnut all mixed together. So the cedar makes it smell super good in here. And then you may be able to tell I've left this whole side without any bedding, and that's because this is where the Heatwave is going to go. I'm going to have to fence it off and then stick the nipples on the outside here. That way they can drink. But yeah, that's the plan. Put a little fence here, put the Heatwave there, and I can open that gate and access the Heatwave without actually stepping into the calves. So they're all coughing and all that from running, so, but they are having a good time, enjoying themselves. A few of them still have the zoomies. They'll be wore out here in a minute or two. And then of course the coughing is just from running around. These aren't sick like the other two are, so. But yeah, the first group, the oldest 10 or so, they are growing super well. A lot of them are like number 3 there. Oh, let's see, number 1 and number 2. Those calves are already the size of what I would normally wean at. And they've still got 2 or 3 weeks to go. So they're gonna be big calves growing on this Heatwave. Sure, they drink more milk, but they are growing a whole lot quicker. And they are all eating quite a bit of grain now too. So by the time these guys are ready to be weaned, I'm guessing they will more than have doubled their birth weight. You're hoping they at least double their size while they're on milk. And I think we're going to do that and more with a lot of these calves. So, and I'd mentioned that I left 2 behind, so I've got 1 in each pen. I'm going to combine them. These 2 are coughing more than they should be. They're not deathly ill, but I have started treating both of them as of this morning because I think they do have some sort of respiratory something going on. But I'm feeding them on the bottle now. They're both drinking perfectly fine. They're aggressive on the bottle. It's just they are coughing more than they should be. And I think that's mostly due to the fluctuation in temperatures these last couple days. We'll have 40 some degrees at night, and then we'll have 80 degrees during the day, which is not great for little baby calves. So I think that's pretty much what's causing it, but hopefully they'll be better here in a couple days and I can kick them outside with the other calves. And before I call it quits for today, just thought I'd show you the new heifer calf. And this is a Balancer Holstein cross calf. She does have quite a few white markings that the sale barn won't like, but like I've mentioned before, the ones with dairy markings, I'll have a different plan for them. So this is the new heifer, and you can see she's made a bit of a mess. But she came right off the cow, so she's been on the cow for the last 4 days, and she's a wild little booger. So anyway, she's the only calf for the week that I picked up, so it was a slow week, but it sounds like next week I've at least got 3 coming, and probably more. But as of now, there's 3 that are born and ready to pick up. So guys, with that being said, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will see you all next time.